I believe I'm somebody who is able to adapt to any situation, any location, whether it's a tier 2, tier 3, or whether it's a metro like Bombay. After my MBA, for long, at least for 2, 3 years ago, it did not hit me that, money is of that much importance in my life, honestly speaking. I was like much more focused on what I like, honestly. There were jobs which I let go because that work was not of my choice. The way I work with my team, I call it more like hunting in a pack. It's not his individual target, it is not his individual KRAs, right? We as a team, as a pack of wolves, will actually get through that target. That's how we look at it.
What is your contribution or legacy that you want people to talk about at GMI?
My personal goal would be to get more and more people join this mission or become great managers themselves. And I think when you have a great manager, when you have a great leader, it takes care of everything. It takes care of culture, it takes care of business, it takes care of the brand, it takes care of the emotions of the people. Everything is that way taken care of. So 1 million managers, let's say that.
Bhavishya, welcome to this conversation. Bhavishya, welcome to this conversation. Such a pleasure to have you with us today and take some time out to know a little bit more about you. For the benefit of our audience, tell us a little bit about you as a person, your journey so far, and in particular, if there have been any person or incident that has shaped you as a person. Maybe you can briefly touch on that and then we'll go into details.
Uh, Fine, sure. Thank you so much, Prasanjit, for giving me this opportunity. I think I know you have a busy schedule, still you took out time for this, so really, glad on that. To start with my background, I was born in Gujarat, but I was never brought up at one place. I traveled a lot, from my very childhood. So even when like I was hardly 8 months when I moved cities, and then every 3 years, 4 years, I was moving cities because my father was in a government transferable job. That way, when I think about myself, I believe I'm somebody who is able to adapt to any situation, any location, whether it's a tier 2, tier 3, or whether it's a metro like Bombay. Uh, More about it, I am a mechanical engineer plus an MBA, kind of a rare breed in the country, not really. And did my engineering in 2009, and then from started working with a German company, then worked for one of India's largest conglomerates. Then I did my MBA, was lucky to get into a premier B school that way, and then got chance to work for a couple of unicorns. I worked with Car Dekho, I worked with Cars 24. I think a breakthrough that came in my life was when I joined Great Place to Work. That is something where my professional aspirations and my personal goals both came together, and it was something which I really believed in. It was something where I did not have to pull myself every morning, but I knew that this is something which is already motivating me to get to work, to do something, to innovate like that.
So my question to you would be that after doing your MBA from Indian School of Business, Hyderabad, you had many options. And while you talk about the fulfilling experience that you had at Great Place to Work, but even before that, you joined two startups. I assume those days Car Dekho and Cars 24 would have been still considered as startups.
Yeah.
And before that, as an engineer, you had a very structured experience, you said, in a German company. So is there something that happened in MBA that changed your mindset and you were now willing to take more risks and join a startup, even though a ISB MBA could have given you a job in many more established businesses?
Uh, Not really, actually. I would say at least for 2, 3 years ago, it did not hit me that, money is of that much importance in my life, honestly speaking. I was like much more focused on doing what, I like, honestly. There were jobs which I let go because that work was not of my choice. And I could only take that call because I was in a great work culture. I was also in a poor work culture. And working like after ISB, I decided that one thing that I will not compromise on is the choice of work that I want. This could be any company, maybe a corporate, maybe a startup, maybe a very small setup of 5 people also. But the work has to be of my choice because I gave myself good efforts. I would say I put a lot of efforts while getting into an MBA, going through that year of transformation, and then I made sure that this should actually be much more beneficial to me. The ROI should be for my satisfaction, not only for my earnings and all that way. Uh, and yes, like again, as I said, startups was not exactly the point. The idea was the what purpose are we going ahead with. So, for example, when I joined Car Dekho, I had a passion for cars, and today also I have passion for cars and vehicles that way. So it was aligning with the purpose that I had in my mind. I had great place to work also because I had experienced good cultures, great cultures, and poor cultures also. The need was very strong. It was something intrinsic to me. And later on, coming to great manager also a year ago, Prasanjit, I think I realized the need for a great manager. Honestly, I never realized that it is about the manager. I thought the companies are like this, but no, your managers can make a difference. So that's how this happened.
That's interesting. So, if I were to summarize, you had the opportunity to work at a great culture, and you had the misfortune of working in a culture which you don't think was a great culture. And at that point in time, you thought that organizations are like that, and therefore the need to uh, follow your dream and be happy with meaningful work was more important to you than just money.
Yeah.
And because cars was your passion, so you whether it's Car Deco or Cars 24, those were obvious choices for you. And when you came to Great Place to Work, you realized that this is a more direct way of not only trying to create a great workplace culture, but also helping hundreds of other organizations create a great workplace culture.
Yes. Yes.
And I remember it was during your time at Great Place to Work that they crossed the magic figure of 1,000 companies working with them in the span of a year. And so that was a big feather on your cap. Now, having had that particular experience, at what point in time did you, because I remember you had also joined other organizations after Great Place to Work until we met, and then you decided to come and help us build Great Manager Institute. So at what point in time did you reach a realization that managers are very important? And in fact, in some ways, they create great workplace cultures.
I won't exactly remember, Prasanjit, at what point of time I actually, realized that managers are that important, which manager played that role. But it so happened while I was at one of these unicorns, I realized that, my managers were changing every 3 to 4 months because it was a dynamic, very aggressive kind of a setup. People will either move out or they will move into a senior role or some other role. And that's where when my team members were happy that, sir, you have been around for a year. That just happened in one of the sessions that I realized that they were happy that I was with them for the longest period. And just to share with you this special incidents. So when we used to deal with used cars, sometimes we used to get robbed cars, stolen cars. And that's where we used to get into trouble because there would be a police after us. And the person who has approved of that car to be bought was a part of my team. So he would get called by the police. He would be asked to come to the police station. In one such case, I went with him and tried to solve the issue. So he really felt very well supported. That, sir, till now nobody came, but in this case you traveled all the way from Delhi to Ghaziabad to make sure there is not an issue with this problem. And I think that's where it hit me that yeah, it's like instead of being so demanding that I should have a great boss of or a great manager, I also have the responsibility to be a great manager. That was one such incident that I remember. Luckily, I would say I was fortunate that earlier I had a chance with Great Place to Work. I was again fortunate that a year down, you also were looking for somebody and I got this opportunity.
And I think in case of Great Place to Work, we were also lucky that we could create a business which was considered to be valuable by others who were willing to invest in that business and therefore create wealth for not only the founders but a lot of other people.
Hmm.
Now, the thought of creating something on your own, starting your own organization, uh, uh, did that ever cross your mind? And if so, what is it about Great Manager Institute that you thought was more exciting than either joining a global company which is also making a difference or starting something of your own?
So, okay, one thing I would like to mention, my resume starts with a word called enterprising professional. Okay. I always believe that I am enterprising. I do not need a manager to motivate me. I do not need very hefty incentives to motivate me. If I have a connect with the job, with the work, with the kind of effort, kind of goals we have in mind, I will go ahead and do it. Right. Honestly, yes, I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I thought of starting on my own sometimes, but then I realized that maybe I need something of a purpose which I couldn't find myself, honestly speaking. Maybe teaching was one of the purposes where I thought ki I'll get back to teaching and start helping people for preparing their MBA exams, interviews, that process and all. I have done that. Maybe around 10 or 12 people I have helped into getting into colleges, but then that was not something again that drove me to that level. uh, I don't know when it happens, but that you realize that there is some person who is doing something for a greater good, not only for making uh, profits or making money, but something of a greater good which the society can use, right? And that's where when this Great Manager Institute opportunity came, I had it in mind ki this is something, if sold rightly, if communicated rightly, it will hit the chords. And when you get into something which is helping people get better, helping society get better, and you can still make money out of it without being too say focused, money minded that way, that works out for you. uh, Thanks to my upbringing since childhood, I never felt the need of I never felt that there was not enough resources around. Right? Maybe there were not enough opportunities because I kept on moving from cities to cities, but I never felt the dearth of resources. And that's where money was always secondary for me, and the goal or something that excites me was primary. That's it, PJ.
That's very interesting because one of the reasons why people go to a management institute is to make money. And even if they sometimes are not, personally interested in management as a topic. You talked about your experience of going to the police station at Ghaziabad to help out one of your team members. Are there any incidents or incident that you remember of any interaction with any team member which made you feel good about being a supervisor or being a people manager?
A very recent one. I would say I think there were since then I definitely had great moments with my teams. If you remember, like when at Great Place to Work, this team of freshers, they actually achieved their quarterly target in the very first quarter, and they overachieved in fact. So that was a great moment for me. That even with freshers we are able to drive business, and they were all very grateful about it. A very recent moment that I remember is about this intern who worked with us for a long period, and she was struggling in her education. She got into engineering, did not want to do this, and she then got into some other courses for HR and CRM, all these things, right? And she was working with us for a good time. Before I moved down, I made sure that she has a permanent job. And recently, she got in touch with me and informed me that I was all over the place. But you kept supporting me for those 6 months, 9 months, 1 year. I probably the longest internship because she couldn't clear her exams, and then that's when she decided I don't want to be studying anymore. I would like to do a full time job, and making her case to get her hired, and then now she's so successful. With the recent one, with the incidents that I'm talking about, she came to me, she hugged me, and she was crying. She was so happy about some recent information, some recent development that happened in the company, that she really realized that cause of you probably I got that opportunity. Else internships would have ended that way. So I think this is one incident that again told me or gave me the confidence that I may not be a good manager, but I can always try to be, try to improve myself.
In essence, what I hear you saying is that every manager has the opportunity to make a positive impact, not only professionally, but make an impact on the lives of people who are in his or her team. And it will be those incidents that would be very fulfilling for the manager. But if I were to be selfish and if I were to ask the question, what's in it for the manager? I mean, what do you gain by being a great people manager? Is there anything specifically that the manager gains apart from uh, psychological fulfillment?
See, of course, if you are a great people manager and you can go beyond your professional strengths, right? Now, all of us might be great at our work, but in the future, you would be expected to lead teams. You will be expected to lead regions, lead businesses. And in fact, I'll just tell you around this why I really feel that, I was fortunate. Even when I was a young engineer, I was leading a team of 20 people who were distributed across the globe. And this was by the virtue of this organization, this German company, that they did not worry whether I had experience or not. If I had the designation of a proposal manager, I'll be leading that team. And that gave me the, some tricks or maybe some understanding that how to get work done from people who are 20 years more experienced than you. Yeah. And if I say it is not only the responsibility, Prasanjit, it is more of a duty of a manager, right? Just imagine that there is a team working with you, and they are looking up to you for their learning, their performance, their growth. So other than say having your own professional success in mind, a great manager can grow in the company to lead businesses from a smaller setup to all the way to becoming the CEO of the company. Yeah, that is one. And if you talk about the psychological satisfaction, I think yes. Uh, I learned of a term way back called social contract. Yeah. So your employee contract, your appointment letter is only limiting you to what the company is expecting out of you as your JD, as your job description. But in a social contract, the people you are working with may go the extra mile just for you, right? They will go the extra mile just for you professionally as well as personally. So I believe like benefits are beyond only your professional goals, which you will definitely attend as a great manager, but personally also you would be having a much fulfilling life.
Tell me, you have seen how the competition, the pressures have increased over a period of time. You have been in sales most of your life. You know the pressures of sales numbers. And in a high pressure, almost a pressure cooker kind of environment in so many industries, financial services being one of them, uh, how relevant is a great people manager, or if I were to put it the other way around, a manager like you would sometimes ask a question, अरे मुझे सेल्स करने दो यार, ये सब बाकी के होता रहेगा, HR will organize engagement parties and stuff like that, let me get my sales. I don't have time to waste on employee engagement. Uh, isn't that a reality? And what is your response to that reality?
See, yes, of course, every individual needs time for, the work that is at hand, right? You have limited 24 hours in the day, 8 hours, 9 hours at the job, maybe another 10, 12 hours with your family, plus taking care of yourself, okay? But a good manager or a great manager will know how to balance, okay? And since he is a manager, he must make sure that his or her team is taken care of from all points of view. And he might delegate it to the HR and all, he might delegate it to the experienced team, but then he has to be there to make sure that whatever the delegation has happened, it is getting executed to that point. Yeah. When I talk about employee engagement, or when I look at, how my team is feeling in the organization, right? It's very important for me, because if I have no idea, it might happen that like the salary is credited on 30th of the month, and on first I have the resignation from that person. There was something that I did not look at, or maybe the process couldn't identify, but this person was going through. So for me, that engagement is not an HR requirement. It's more my requirement. I should know if my person is, happy. Is he like facing some personal issues? Why is he not able to perform the way we were expecting when we got him? Or maybe like, especially if I talk about sales, where has been my experience for the larger part of my career. Uh, See, quarterly performance is temporary. I will do one great in one, I may not do great in another. It might happen, but I need to really understand that this person has the potential. And you can only gauge that potential when that engagement is personal, when that connect with that person is personal. To just share one point here, the way I work with my team, I call it more like hunting in a pack. It's not his individual target, it is not his individual KRAs, right? We as a team, as a pack of wolves, will actually get through that target. That's how we look at it.
Yes, and in that pack, there is a role for everyone, and unless the pack comes together, uh, an individual can never lead to collective success. Everyone has to come together.
Yeah.
What would be my last question to you is what would be your advice to young people who are coming, and particularly in context of Great Manager Institute, to young people who come and join us, uh, based on your experience, what would you recommend to them, both in terms of what they should be trying to do and what they should be avoiding and not do?
I think one beauty of our culture, Prasanjit, at GMI, and not because we both work here, but because I have worked at different organizations, is that we are not limited by our departments, or the resources that we have at hand. The collaboration that we show, okay, while everybody getting together, when knowing that probably in one quarter we did not achieve the target, because there were some challenges across some things, right? What can be done? So it was so beautiful that in last quarter, all of them came together. That we will also take up some BD target, we will take up some product implementation target, we will take up some delivery targets, like that. So whoever wants to join GMI, maybe the ideal candidate, first of all, has to break his silos, unbox yourself, unbox your, limitations that you have. So that is one thing. Secondly, entitlement is no strict no here. Your role doesn't mean that, or your designation doesn't mean that some things are beyond or below your scope. Even at this level, I do make cold calls to the clients. I also get to support my team in their learning and development, in their meetings, and we have great examples. All the founders are involved. The founders could also say, "Ki, okay, my work is limited to maybe big clients, but you guys also come and talk to some smaller clients to get the feedback." So I believe that is one thing we cherish. That as a company, we truly live the character or the trait of collaboration, right? And that way you can. The important thing is, while we are saying this thing, when you ask somebody for help, even for a meeting when you are not available, people are available. They would say yes. There will be at least five hands raised. Ki, okay, I'll join you in that meeting. So that is the beauty. So anybody who is looking to work with us, boss, no silos, no limitations. Come forward, show initiative, come up with ideas, speak your mind. and make sure that you are not leaving behind. No, you are not getting left behind because you did not speak up.
Thank you for capturing the culture of the organization. And in terms of your own trajectory, what you want to accomplish, the reason why you joined GMI, if GMI were to continue to be your dream organization, what do you see yourself doing? What is your contribution or legacy that you want people to talk about at GMI? Uh, Tell us a little bit more about that before we end this conversation.
uh, sure. I think for me, getting more people to join this mission, right, is more important. I'm not saying that the company would be a $1 billion company or a unicorn. For me, I think it's more important that what I felt when I was needing a great manager, or when my team felt that I'm a good manager, I can still do better. My personal goal would be to get more and more people join this mission or become great managers themselves. If you put a number in my mind, I could roughly say maybe 1 million, 2 million managers should be getting recognized, or participating, or get working on themselves seriously to become great managers. So that would be a satisfaction for me, and it comes more from the point of view that the purpose is to spread the word or spread the mission to more people, so they get excited about it. And I think when you have a great manager, when you have a great leader, it takes care of everything. It takes care of culture, it takes care of business, it takes care of the brand, it takes care of the emotions of the people. Everything is that way taken care of. So 1 million managers, let's say that.
And as you very rightly say, and signage behind you and behind me says, all we need is a great manager to work with, a 1 million managers who know how to encourage their team members to realize more of their potential, essentially means
Of course.
that the entire country becomes an economic superpower, and with higher standards of living and better life for most of its citizens. So that
Of course.
is a very inspiring idea. And Bhavishya, all the best to you, and thank you for sharing your thoughts in this interaction today.
Once again, thank you so much for the opportunity, Prasanjit. I'm happy that I could convey what was in my mind. I hope I was also able to put my words clearly. Thank you so much.